DP2, short for Development Prototype No. 2, was a unique diesel locomotive built by English Electric in 1962. She was notable for having the outward appearance of a Class 55 Deltic, albeit with a very different mechanical layout. EE decided to build DP2 on the same production line as the Deltics, seeing as the latter was in production at the same time. The one-off DP2 had a single English Electric 16 CSVT prime mover, as opposed to the two Napier Deltic D1825s in the Class 55s. Consequently, the 55s were more powerful than DP2, with 3,300 horsepower as opposed to 2,700, though that's not to say that DP2 was a weakling. It's also worth mentioning that this engine's number carried on from the earlier DP1, otherwise known as the Deltic prototype. As for why DP2 was built in the first place, it was due to the British Transport Commission requesting EE to provide a more powerful Type 4 locomotive that was lighter than the previous Class 40s. Despite their immense weight of 135 tonnes, the Class 40s had a comparatively low power output of just 2,000 horsepower. By contrast, DP2 weighed only 107 tonnes, yet boasted 700 more horsepower. This locomotive came in at a length of 21.18 metres, height of 3.91 metres, and width of 2.68 metres. She had a top speed of 90 miles per hour, and her wheel arrangement was Coco, the same as the production Deltics. In order to accommodate the single EE power unit, DP2's body had a few notable detail differences from the production Deltics, namely the large radiator grills on each side and a single roof fan as opposed to four symmetrically placed fans on the Deltics. The locomotive was originally painted in BR Brunswick green with small yellow ends, and carried out her first test run in May 1962, which was a light engine run from Newton Llewellows to Chester and back. 6 days later she hauled an impressive 15 coaches up the West Coast Main Line from Crewe to Penrith, before going to the London Midland region to undertake further test runs between Crewe and Birmingham. Over the next 3 years, DP2 was regularly used on both the WCML out of London Euston and the East Coast Main Line out of King's Cross, often working alongside her Deltic relatives despite being less powerful. Even so, she was still able to maintain the same schedules. Even though DP2 was a good and reliable locomotive, the BTC was still concerned about the unproven nature of her 16 CSVT prime mover. As such, the locomotive remained a one-off prototype, which continued to run up and down the ECML. She received a major overhaul in 1965, which also included a repaint in BR two-tone green, thus making her look even more like the production Deltics. Sadly, the service life of DP2 was cut short on July 31st, 1967. On that day, she was heading north through Thirsk when the locomotive collided with a derailed cement train bound for Uddingston in Scotland. 7 people were killed, and the locomotive damaged beyond repair. DP2 was withdrawn following the derailment at Thirsk, and soon after she was taken back to her metaphorical birthplace at the Vulcan Foundry. There she stayed until 1968, when what was left of her was finally dismantled. Fortunately, DP2 wasn't forgotten. Starting in 1968, English Electric built the 50-strong fleet of Class 50 locomotives, which were based on DP2's design. These locomotives used the same power unit, but had a slightly higher top speed of 100 miles per hour. Initially, the prime mover from DP2 was used in Class 50 number 50017 Royal Oak, but ended its days in 50037 Illustrious. The legend of DP2 herself lives on thanks to the 00 scale model made by Silver Fox Models, which was joined by Hellions' ready-to-run version in 2012. These were a limited edition run of 2,000 models, and Hellion provided both the pre-1965 Brunswick green and post-1965 two-tone green. The version I've got is the, in my opinion, better looking two-tone green. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy this look at the unique DP2 locomotive. I think I'll leave you with some clips of her Deltic cousin running on the Settling Carlisle line. Take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.